martyrs. All martyrs have suffered for Christ, and all of them were honored by a Savior for their love for them. But St. George went through martyrdom that is almost unheard of. For months upon months he was tortured by the Emperor Diocletian and his cronies, and the man became so tortured that you can see it's impossible to describe the things that he went through. And we have more or less the idea how long this went for, because his feast day, the feast day of his decapitation, the final martyrdom by cutting off his head, happened in April, because 23rd of April is the feast day of St. George. That's the feast day, the day of his death, when he was perfected in martyrdom. But we know that his martyrdom started sometime in November, because the feast of the liberation of St. George from the wheel, you see there, by the angel, is celebrated in the country of Georgia on 11th of November. Therefore, that was the first martyrdom that he went through, and for months upon months after that, up to his final perfection, that took almost 6 months of men being steadfast in the faith and being wonder work, that the pagans and the emperor and all his court couldn't resist the things that he said and things that he did. Because during his martyrdom, many times he would be healed by a Savior. Many times he would raise the dead in order to convince them. But as we know, when somebody has hardened his heart, no matter what miracle he sees, it won't affect him. Because if the words of our Savior, the sweet words of our Savior from the Gospel, are alien to one's heart, no matter what miracle he sees, he will still be hardened. So therefore St. George that's why he's honored so much, because he was a young man. He was a man in his 20s, early 20s. And when he served in the court of Diocletian, he was a very successful military man. And he served at the court of a pagan emperor as long as his conscience was not touched. Therefore he gave the dues to the state that he gave to Caesar what was of the Caesar, that is, to pay the tributes and to serve in the army and so forth. But as soon as he saw that the emperor was going to infringe upon the conscience of the Christians, that is himself, and start persecute his fellow Christians, it is said, Eusebius of Caesarea mentions that when it is unnamed in the Commedia which was this man, but it is inferred that it was St. George in the history of Eusebius of the Commedia, that there was one young soldier, when he saw the edict of Emperor Diocletian put out about the closing of the churches and the persecution of the Christians. He was a young soldier, he says that he took off his belt and threw it down and tore down the edict. That's how steadfast he was, and went up and upbraided the emperor in person. Somebody who was successful knew that the moment that comes that our conscience is infringed, the moment it comes that the secular and the Caesar asks us to give him that which we owe only to God, that is the moment that we put aside everything. And we put that first, that the faith and our conscience and our faithfulness to Christ come first. Otherwise, we give everything to the Caesar that is owed to him, that is, in the secular ways. But when the world tries to infringe on our conscience and to take away from us that which is only owed to God, that's where the docile and the obedient citizens that Christians were become lions in the arena themselves, in having no fear whatsoever to contest for Christ. And one of the fathers explains about the wounds that the martyrs have on their minds and in their hearts and in their bodies, because they went through so much suffering. And he says that at the second coming of our Savior at the resurrection, the martyrs will have their wounds with them. And one says, well, how? And he says, well, didn't our Savior have his wounds after his resurrection? Why did he have his wounds? Not that he needed them, to show his love for us. To show how much he suffered for us and how much he loved us. That's why he kept his wounds with him, so that unto eternity, God incarnate who sitteth now at the right hand of the Father will have those wounds with which he redeemed mankind as an ultimate sacrifice and as a sign of his eternal love for mankind. In the same way, he will keep the wounds of the martyrs to show how much they loved him. So that everybody will be, those wounds will be witnesses to the whole creation, how much these humans, like unto us, loved God, that they went through so much suffering for him. And that is why there's such great intercessors. The martyrs were so revered by the early church that the places where they would deposit the martyrs' bones, those were the holy altars. That's where the sacrifice was offered always. Those were the altars upon which the liturgy was always celebrated, because St. Nicholas Cavasilas tells us that there is no worthier place to offer for our Saviour in his body and blood, to be rested than in his saints, than in the bodies and the bones of his saints, which have been permeated with his grace. And that is why the portable altars that the Church uses, which is called the Antimension, always has the martyrs' relics in them. So that, because that is the worthiest receptacle for the liturgy. So St. George is a great intercessor. St. Pachomius says that, our Father Pachomius, says that, every saint has a special gift for certain things that we ask for, right? The one saint is patron of this thing, another patron of that, and St. George is patron saint of everything. because he is the